Hi, I'm James the Light Guy, and today we have another set of LED replacement headlight bulbs. Today's bulbs are from CarRover, and they are available on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below if you'd like to get them for yourself. In the box, we get a product manual with some basic specifications of the bulbs and a simple installation guide. We also get the pair of bulbs. These bulbs are in the H1 bulb type. Normally, an H1 bulb only has the positive connection in the housing, while the ground connection is made through direct electrical contact between the bulb base and the housing. You can often find a spade connector attached somewhere to the back of the housing. That can simply be pulled off and attached directly to this wire. They then go into a piece of heat shrink tubing which holds on a braided nylon sheath and goes into the brain box. This brain box has a series of diodes to prevent any damage from reverse polarity installation and a series of capacitors and resistors to prevent any flickering and to have them shut off quickly so they don't have a dim glow. The wires then head up to the heatsink. This is an extruded aluminum heatsink. It is fairly small, but we can see that there are a number of grooves on every fin, increasing the surface area for heat dissipation. On the back, we have a small cooling fan protected by a stamped metal shroud. The shroud has 3 tabs on the back to prevent most large things from coming in contact with the fan and damaging it or the blades. The adapter plate has an H1 shape, and initially I thought that this was pretty cheap until I started messing with it. It's actually a piece of steel which does not have a lot of flex to it. It is surprisingly rigid. Moreover, it is slightly undersized for the diameter of the bulb. Once installed, it has to get forced on and doesn't like to move after install. You can see that the face of the bulb is aluminum. We have a black powder coated aluminum on one side and a red anodized faceplate on the opposite. In the middle we have these 2 viewing windows with the chipsets on them. These are CSP chips, and the circuit board has a copper substrate to help draw that heat away from the chips down to the heatsink. Now this heatsink is small, as I said. It allows you to get into narrow openings, but it's also fairly tall from the back of the bulb base. So unless you have an inch or so of clearance, you may not be able to get a dust cap over the back. Now let's get this installed into the housing. We'll remove the base plate and take our housing, and using the tabs on the back of here, we will line it up with the holes in our housing, which will keep it approximately centered on the hole. Then, using our spring clip to retain it, we do that. let's hook this bulb up to our power supply to see what kind of current we draw. Alright, you can see at 14.4 volts we are drawing about 2.2 amps, and it will hover around there, dropping down to about 2.1 as it reaches thermal equilibrium. Bringing in our light meter, we can see that we have a dark spot between the faces. At 6 inches away, with one of the chips facing directly at the sensor, we can see that we are just over 1,000 lux. But if we were to rotate the bulb so that it casts the shadow on the sensor, you can see that we are at about 70 lux. Let's go ahead and push this into the housing. When doing so, we want to make sure that the chips are at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions. Normally we'd like to take this outside and cast it at a distance at a wall so you guys could see. As one of my commenters pointed out, that would be ideal. But currently I have you guys hooked up here, so we'll just have to use this for this test. As you can see, that we have a fairly sharp line across the top, and that does get sharper at a distance, but we also have this dark region in the middle. When cast down on the road, you can see that we would have a whole region of the road that is very poorly illuminated. Adjusting the bulb in the housing, can almost eliminate that, but it will remain. When used as a high beam, you can see that we also get a dark spot at the top. In the end, I can recommend these bulbs for use in a non-culminated housing, such as a reflector housing for a high beam. Used in a projector for a low beam, I feel that the dark spots have a few drawbacks, but they are almost certainly better than any halogen bulb that was factory installed. As I said, the link to these will be in the description below, and if you found the video informative or enjoyed the video at all, please hit that like button and consider sharing with your friends. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that bell to be notified when I upload new content. That's all I have for today's video. If you have any questions or comments about these bulbs, leave them down below. And until next time, I'm James the Light Guy.